being. So today I want to talk to you about expanded states of consciousness and altered states of being as it pertains specifically to the creative process and especially next level entrepreneurship. And this is a new frontier that more and more creators, that more and more entrepreneurs, that more and more cutting edge explorers of human potential are tapping into, and it seems like it has largely gone missing for almost everyone who is in the creative space. And what I'm talking about here is tapping into a deeper state of awareness and a deeper space of expanded consciousness, and then creating from this place. And so what I'm about to share with you, if this is new for you, if you take this on, it will literally change everything you create moving forwards from here. And if you are not yet tapping into this, then you're missing out on 98% of your capacity that you could be creating from. And so if you're ready to go on a bit of a journey, then continue watching and let's do this together. First of all, when I speak about altered states of consciousness, expanded awareness, and altered states of being, one massive misconception that I want to clear out right from the get-go is the misconception and the misunderstanding that an altered state or an expanded state of consciousness is something other than right here and right now. In other words, you might have had the experience, I don't know how old you are, how many years you have been in this spacesuit body that you inhabit right now, but for example, like say you're in your 40s, one time when you were 18, you went to Thailand on a backpacking trip, and there under the stars, after a full moon party perhaps, maybe you had even taken some mind-altering substances, or maybe it was just you with the magnitude of nature, but you had an experience where, say, you're on your back laying in the ocean looking up at the stars, or you're standing with your feet in the sand and feeling the majestic quality of nature, or maybe you're just on the dance floor and you're tapping into something that is beyond thought, that is before the mind. And in that moment, it's like you touch the essence of life. It's like you touch the essence of what we are here to experience as human beings on planet Earth. And maybe you had that experience and you're like, oh my God, I feel like everything makes sense now. I feel like this is how we're meant to live. I feel like this is how we're meant to feel. And maybe you mistakenly believe that that was because of the substance, or because of the drug, or because of that specific moment on the dance floor, or because of Thailand, or because of wherever it was that you were backpacking in your youth, or whatever it might be. You assigned meaning to the specific context, the specific situation, and you were like, oh my God, that was amazing. And maybe you tell people about this one experience for the next 30 years, and kind of in the back of your mind, it's like you're wanting to get back there. And maybe after this trip you came home and you're back in the office, and you're back in, the experience of like whatever the everyday experience is, and it's like, I got it and then I lost it. And the feeling of this, like a vague memory, almost like remembering a dream where you had that expanded experience, and then you are back to what we call normal, back to normal, which is basically, normal is basically the state that most people live in every day, day to day, which is a steady state of kind of like a mild stream of numbness, and just the right mix of uppers and downers, just the right mix of caffeine and alcohol to just kind of keep you in the flow of being a functional part of the whole, machinery called corporate life, or whatever it is that you're engaged in. Or maybe you're even an entrepreneur, but you're in that space of this is what I need to do, and this is what I need to get done, and this is how you do it. And you're in that linear Newtonian world of working hard and working while feeling disconnected from that deeper source. And maybe there is that vague memory or that feeling of, yeah, that was beautiful and I had that experience. But it's not something that you experience every day. Or maybe you've traveled to Peru and you stood there in front of Machu Picchu, or maybe you skydived, or maybe you went on a shamanic journey and you drank ayahuasca, or maybe you took LSD and had this explosion of understanding of how everything communicates with everything. But it's something basically that was like, oh, that happened over there, that happened that night, that happened on that journey, that trip. And it's something that's like far away and in the past, or in other words, in any way, shape or form, not here right now. And so to just bring it back home, a huge misconception that I see people have is that an altered state or an expanded state is a going away from, or traveling away from, or departing from our natural state. And what I'm here to tell you, and your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to discover this for yourself, is that the expanded state of awareness that I'm talking about is not a departing from here or moving away from this moment, but it is actually a deeper dropping in. It's a deeper becoming so intimately present with what is here right now already. And so let's experience this for a moment. Actually, before, I'm going to guide you into an experience of this in a moment. Before I do that, I do want to just really bring it home to why do we even talk about this? Because for me, it's not about the high. It's not about like, whoa, that's cool and you can access this and feel like you're on drugs every day. It's not that. It's not spacing out into some altered dimension where you can't function. It's actually tapping into a deeper functionality, because you are actually acting from a place and you're creating from a place that is deeper than the emotional turmoils and ups and downs. And so you might have had the experience where you want to create something, you have this brilliant idea for something you want to bring forth into the world, but then on the day when you're going to do it, you just feel scared and insecure or too emotional, or maybe you're a woman and you're like, yeah, the moon cycle is real, what can I say? You know, some days we're feeling super powered, and some days we just want to cocoon. And so yes, you can totally allow that. And if you're feeling sad and tender one day, then just cozy up with a cup of chai and read a book. But actually that cozying up with a cup of chai and reading a book can allow for an expansion where even on a day where you're feeling tender, you might create something really, really beautiful. You might make a video about just loving everything as it is, as it's showing up, even when you're feeling tender and vulnerable. And so if you think that you can only create from a certain space or from a certain state or from a certain emotion, then you are compartmentalizing intelligence and creativity in a way that it was never designed to. And so one huge game changer and shifter comes when you can actually welcome everything, and you're like, okay, I guess my human is feeling tender today. How can I create? How can I still be of service? How can I still share love? And that might mean that you just wrap yourself in a blanket, you light some candles, you listen to beautiful music, and you just nurture. That is perfect. It's not always about just give. But what I'm talking about here is tapping into something where you become the overflow. And so, when you are operating from a place that is deeper than the emotional ups and downs, where you're feeling, my emotions are like this today and therefore I cannot do what I wanted to create. When you actually realize that there's a deeper space of presence and a deeper freedom here, then you can allow the emotions to move way more gracefully. You can even enjoy the feeling of being like frustrated or pissed off or even annoyed or feeling sad, and you can allow that. And then from that place of openness, you can create, you can be of service. In other words, you're actually more functional. So it's not about spacing out like you're on some drug trip, but it's actually coming into deeper presence and a space where you can actually be of service in a greater way, meaning that if you're an entrepreneur, this is where your greatest work comes from. this is where your greatest work comes from. And the reason why I'm talking about this is that when you tap into this space of first of all, default modus operandi for so many people is that you're like, okay, it's working day, let me just open my computer and just start doing something. I've said it before, it's worth saying it again. What you create from that space when you feel disconnected from a deeper source of inspiration is going to be mediocre at best. This is how most people operate. This is how most people do business. And this is why most people struggle so much and feel so like, I'm here with my life's purpose and I want to create this thing. But why is it so hard and why do I feel so cut off? And this is why, because you're forgetting that this deeper state of presence is available to you in all moments. And so what happens is that when you actually allow yourself to not just go straight into doing, unless there is a creative impulse where you just wake up and you have this idea and you're like, oh my God, and you just go straight into creative mode, that's perfect as well. So I'm not talking about that. It's not that you have to stop yourself when there's a genuine wave. You know, if the wave comes, then by all means surf it and be in creative mode. And rather than trying to just go straight into action mode, especially if you're going to write something, if you're writing a book, if you're creating a video, if you're creating a blog, if you are creating a coaching program, if you're creating an online course, if you're envisioning a retreat or an event that you want to create, rather than going straight into disconnected doing, allow yourself to first drop deeper into a deeper sense of awareness and aliveness and inspiration, because, and here's the thing that I was getting to, because when you do this, then not only will you create things that surprise and inspire other people, but you will create things, write things, say things, film things, design things, envision things, where you yourself look at it either after or as it's coming through and you're like, where the F did that come from? Where is this even coming from? Where are these words coming from? The simple answer is that they're coming from this space of silence. They're coming from this space of deeper awareness. And now you might be asking, what is this deeper awareness? What are we actually talking about here? You know, beloved child has many names. There's a lot of different things we could call it. We can call it source, we can call it spirit, we can call it God, we can call it the quantum field. Whatever name you want to give to this infinite intelligence that animates and emanates everything and through everything. In other words, that there is your body, you know, there is my body right here, right now, and then there's, for example, here, there's like my eyeballs, and you have your eyeballs that you look out through, but this presence that is here, the presence that is gazing out through my eyes, the presence that is gazing out through your eyes, looking at this video right now, is the same intelligence, it's the same one consciousness, it's the same presence that animates everything, that grows the plants, that burns the flame, that flies the birds, that spins the planets, that beats our hearts and our cells, and allow for us to breathe together with the trees and together with all of existence. And so you're actually tapping deeper into the nature of who you really are. And when you do this, you will notice that dormant faculties, capabilities, abilities come alive that were previously inaccessible to you. So you might have thought that if you're watching a video, for example, right now, if you're watching a video and you see somebody create something or speak to the camera or have something come through them in a way where you're like, oh my God, they're so amazing, and I could never do that. And maybe you ascribe genius as being something other than you, or something that you do not have, or inspiration, for example. But the thing is that it's not a person-dependent thing, it is an access-dependent thing, or it's an awareness or consciousness-dependent thing. In other words, when you just allow yourself, and I think we've all had glimpses of this, when you allow yourself to actually drop deeper into a space of awareness, then this naturally comes through. And so just for a moment right now, as you're listening to my voice, as you're hearing these words, as you're perhaps with eyes closed, maybe you're looking at the screen, maybe you're looking at the camera, allow yourself to feel into, first of all, the presence within your own body. And so feeling into what is present within you right now. Feeling the rise and fall of your breath, a gentle expansion as you breathe into all the cells in your body, and relaxing with the exhale, allowing all that oxygen to be transported into every single part of your body. Just feeling this pulsating aliveness within you, this intelligence that you already are. You don't need to take drugs for this. You don't need to go to a mountaintop for this or to a shaman. You can do those things, and this is accessible here right now. Just breathing into this magical intelligence that your body is. Breathing all the way down into your belly, into your pelvic floor, into your hips even. And feel that steady, grounded quality within you. This aliveness, beating heart, flowing river of energy through your body. Breathing into the aliveness that you are. And then from here, begin to expand your awareness both outwards as well as deeper inside. The macrocosm and the microcosm, both feeling bigger than your physical body, and begin to tap into a sense of expanding your awareness. Maybe you can hear sounds, maybe you can see things in your peripheral vision, maybe you can get a sense of what is behind you, maybe you can even get a sense of the city that you're in, or the jungle that you're in, or the forest that you're in, or wherever you are. Maybe you can even get a sense of all the aliveness that's happening on planet Earth right now. So a sense of expanded awareness, and also dropping deeper into something that is not just awareness of something, where it's awareness of whatever is the bustling marketplace of planet Earth right now, but it's an awareness of awareness, an awareness of awareness itself, that there is something here hearing my words, or something that is aware, present, awake in this moment. That is noticing everything that is coming and going in your life. And this part of you has access to infinite intelligence, wisdom, and inspiration at all times. It doesn't matter if you're on your period, it doesn't matter if you had a sucky day, this awareness is always already here. And so allow yourself to tap into that sense of feeling into the field, feeling into the sense of spaciousness, of awareness, and then allowing for an open sense of just beingness. It's not even a waiting, like, is God going to speak to me now and instruct me of what video blog I'm going to do today? No, it's not about that. It's about feeling into that space of aliveness, and maybe something comes to you, but it's an access point, and then whatever you create from there, that's up to you. And this is not dependent, because we might call this a deeply spiritual experience in the sense that it is tapping into a deeper source of inspiration, of being infused with spirit and with the divine. However, it's not spiritual dependent or compartmentalized in the sense of that then means that you become deeply quiet. Because maybe from that space you're like, cool, and I want to go to the gym, and I want to just work out my body because that would feel good and that would bring you more vitality and aliveness. Or maybe you want to go and have a shower, or maybe you want to go outside. Right now we're here in Arezzo in Italy, and just out here on the street up around the corner there's a giant cathedral and then a beautiful park overlooking the mountains of Tuscany. And so this morning, for example, I went out and I was walking before it got really hot, and Gabriel and I were walking in the park, and we're just having these beautiful conversations and listening to some inspiring things from YouTube, and just sitting and meditating on this very ancient old stone wall, and just being there with the tall trees in the park and with everything. And I was just noticing that I was just getting these ideas. and inspiration actually for what I'm creating right now with you, which is the sense of like, okay, I want to film something today, and I didn't know what, but I just had the sense of something that is wanting to be given that I assume, that I imagine can be useful for people. And so the instructions, in a sense, is allow yourself to become deeply present with the aliveness of your body, with what you are sensing within you right now. And that could be emotions, it could be deep inner peace, it doesn't really matter. Whatever you're experiencing, just welcoming that. Number two, allow your awareness to expand and tap into both the bigger expanded awareness of content. So for example, it might be the awareness of the room that you're in, or the sounds that you're hearing, or nature all around you, as well as deeper awareness of the silence and the awareness itself. And then from that place, following the aliveness and following the inspiration. And so again, maybe that is that you sit in silence and you just breathe. And in that space of silence and receptivity, you might get an idea for something that you want to create in your business, and then you go and do that. Or maybe it's like, actually, I really want to move my body, and then you go out for a walk, or you go for a run, or you go to a yoga class, or you go to the gym, or maybe you put on the 22 minutes of bliss, and you shake your body, and you do some breath work, and you move your body, and then drop deep into meditation, and then you allow your creativity to come from there. And so basically whatever taps you into that deeper awareness, and that might be something that you do every single day. I know a lot of people, I'm getting so many messages and emails and comments from people who have been doing the 22 minutes of bliss practice every day, and they're like, it's insane the stuff that is coming through. Or maybe it is that one day you do the 22 minutes of bliss, another day you meditate, another day you go out for a walk and go down streets you've never been to before. Another day you might do some kickboxing or some HIIT workout, some high intensity interval training. Or maybe you just do some straight up shaking, or maybe you do some breath work, or maybe you do Wim Hof breathing, or maybe you do cold plunge, or maybe whatever that is. Maybe you do stand-up paddleboarding or canoeing. And the thing is that it's not that you have to go out into a park or climb a mountain or drop into a cold plunge every single time before you're allowed or can create something. But even just 3 present breaths and asking the question, what is wanting to come through here? What is wanting to be created through me? Can completely alter what actually then comes through, and you create from a deeper place of genius and of wisdom and of inspiration. And one last thing I want to add to this, because I'm feeling this really presently in this moment, is that one really beautiful thing about this is that when you are in this space, it is so deeply nourishing. Like you're actually feeling this energy flow through you, and you are giving from a place where you're allowing for inspiration to come through, versus being a disconnected just head trying to figure things out with the brain. And so you're allowing for a deeper nourishment, and it actually feels really rejuvenating and energizing when you are creating from this place. Okay, my loves, so that's all I have for you today. I hope that made sense to you, to your brain, or to your higher self, or to your quantum self, or anything like that. I would love to hear from you what you received from this, and what is a nugget of inspiration or wisdom, or something that you feel stoked to bring into your life, that you feel inspired to bring into your life. You can also share what your shifters are, or what your altered state portal experiences or activities are. Like, what taps you in? Is it surfing? Is it breathing? Is it Wim Hof breathing? Is it the 22 minutes of bliss? Is it maybe reading poetry? Or is it listening to just some really dirty trap or hip-hop music, just dancing your little ass off, whatever that is for you, or deep meditation, or listening to Eckhart Tolle, or listening to me, or anything else. And so I would love to hear just like, what is it that brings you into this state of deeper awareness and deeper aliveness and inspiration. And also I would love for you to just share if you have had the experience, or maybe you watch this now and you come back later and you can report what happened for you when you started to bring this into your life. That is not just like, okay, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm in business, and this is me and my computer and that's it. But you actually allow yourself to tap into a deeper awareness. What then came through? What did you create? What happened from here? I'm super curious, and yeah, feel free to share if that inspires you. Okay, my loves, so with that, I wish you an absolutely beautiful day wherever you are in the world. Sending so much love from Tuscany, Italy. Stay awesome and see you.